Hey everybody, Eric here, jumping on now to heap praise on Senator Cory Booker. I wish Cory Booker was my senator. I really do. But he is the Democratic senator from New Jersey. If you were working today and hadn't been paying attention, Cory Booker has done something that nobody has done since Strom Thurmond did this back in 1965. He has broken the record for the longest marathon speech, that lasted all night, Monday night into Tuesday night. And it's a feat of endurance to show the Democrats' objections to President Donald Trump's sweeping actions. Let me just bring it up here, and I'll show you. There it is. Cory Booker sets a record with marathon speech. Question is, will it rally anti-Trump resistance? And it should. You can go to this page. It's the AP. And the reason why I go to the AP all the time now is kind of like an FU to the Trump administration, who essentially has barred the Associated Press from being at the front during news conferences done by I believe her name is Levitt. Last name is Levitt. His press secretary, and also the AP was kicked out of the Pentagon as one of the quote permanent unquote news outlets in the Pentagon. They were kicked out, and so I always go to the AP now, the Associated Press now, for that. But also on this page. I wanted to point out over here on the right, Cory Booker sets record with marathon speech. Trump has dubbed tomorrow Liberation Day for his tariffs. A Senate vote to reverse Trump's tariffs on Canada will test Republican support. Major layoffs are underway in the nation's public health agencies. That's on RFK Jr.'s watch. So, a little background on the reason why this is important. In 1965, the Senate and the House were debating the 1965 Civil Rights Act, legislation that would protect African Americans and other groups. Strom Thurmond, who is senator from South Carolina, a new Republican, having flipped from being a Dixiecrat because he was previously a Democrat, and some of that history about how the parties actually flipped. The Republican Party today used to be the Democratic Party back in the day, and the Democratic Party of today used to be the Republican Party back in the day, in general terms. But there is history that is not taught anymore about the party history that I think everybody needs to know. And if you do learn that history, chances are, regardless of whether you are conservative, left or right of center, moderate, or left liberal, you might not want to be in either party. And so Strom Thurmond set the record for 24 hours and 19 minutes with a marathon speech trying to filibuster a vote on the Civil Rights Act. Fortunately, his filibuster failed. Cory Booker was not necessarily filibustering any piece of legislation. However, his speech lasted well beyond 24 hours and 19 minutes with no food breaks and no bathroom breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what John Lewis was talking about as an example of good trouble. Good trouble is not setting fire to Tesla dealerships. Good trouble is not defacing Tesla vehicles that are owned by American citizens, particularly if those vehicles were purchased long before this version of Elon Musk showed up. That is defacing private property, and if you're caught, your ass should go to jail for doing so. Yes, you should. I don't care if you are on my side. If I see you doing it, I'm going to turn you in myself, because that's breaking the law. And that would put a black mark on anything that we're trying to do to get other people to open their eyes during this finding out phase of hashtag FAFO. And so I thank Senator Booker for doing that. Question is, will you open your eyes to that? And will other people open their eyes to that? But I'm glad he did the speech that he did, and I hope it was intentional for him to do it this week, because the Department of Health and Human Services are doing their own massive layoff of more than 10,000 people. In fact, the number of 10,000 is not even in the conversation anymore. It's just higher than that. The other thing that's happening this week, and I'll ask the question, where are the 4 buyers that said that they were ready to buy TikTok so that it would not be shut down? And President Trump says that he is the artist of the deal. Where's the deal? Because if nothing is done by Saturday, TikTok goes dark yet again. Yet again. Mike Johnson hasn't said anything about it, but Donald Trump said that he could have a deal made. Where's the deal? There has not been a peep from any news outlet on the left, in the middle, or on the right about this deal. And I'll remind you that more than 3 million people, actually, let me just Google this right now, because my brain is saying 300 million, but I want to make sure of the number, because it can't be 300 million in the United States. All right, my screen just froze up. Let me just pull my phone out. Let me see if Google can tell me how many TikTok users in the US. I'm sorry, I'm glad I looked it up. As of March 25th, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. As of March 25th, 135.79 million people, or actually 135.79 million monthly active TikTok users, making it the country with the largest TikTok audience globally. This is a Chinese parent company owns TikTok, yet the United States is the country that has the most users of TikTok. And yet, again, it could go dark. It's Saturday. Yet another yo-yo journey for a company under the Trump administration. And like I said, hundreds of thousands of people are being laid off. I don't even know why they're saying it's laid off. They're being fired from their jobs under the Department of Health and Human Services department. I don't know. These reciprocal taxes that are going to start tomorrow against any country that has a tariff on us, we're going to put the same tariff on them. Most of the news outlets today were focusing on vehicles. I'm looking for a vehicle, but I'm not buying a brand new car. I'm looking for a used vehicle. But I'm still going to be affected by these tariffs. My best friend is looking for a brand new car, and his is an imported car, and he's going to be affected by the tariffs. No one can escape this because even the tariffs on American cars, he said that there's not going to be a tariff on American cars, but that's just not true. There's not a single vehicle made in this country that doesn't have a part that comes from a different country. That is fact. And that's something that Either he has forgotten or none of his cronies, who were supposed to be some of the smartest people in this country, didn't tell him. So for me, I'm looking at anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 rise in price because of the tariff. And my best friend is looking at anywhere from an $8,000 to $15,000 rise in price because of the tariff. None of us are going to be able to escape. And so people who are selling stuff on the TikTok store, I mean, the first time it happened, it was shuttered, but by Monday, it was back open. The same thing might happen this time, but the reason people are talking about this is because it keeps happening. Why does it keep happening? President Trump said that he could do a deal. He has 4 people that I'm aware of, unless they backed out, that I'm aware of, who said, I am ready to buy it. The deal wasn't done then, even though he's supposed to be the person of all persons who does deals. Where's the deal? Why are we waiting to the last minute so that the MAGA factionists can come out and say, oh, President Trump saved TikTok? That's just like the photo op he did when he was president the first time and held a Bible up outside the church and held it upside down. I mean, this is stuff you can't make up. But I digress. My focus for this video, and I'm going to bring him back up. My focus was on this guy, Senator Cory Booker. Thank you, Senator Booker, for doing what you did. Thank you. So, share this video, or go, you can, in fact, if you look at this page that I just showed you, that is a YouTube video, the last 2 minutes, that shows when he actually broke the record set by Strom Thurmond. And I'm sure some Republican is going to try to do it again to break his record, but I doubt they'll be able to do it the way that he did it. But share this video, or go online and find it and share it. Doesn't have to be mine, but find the video and share it. Other people need to see this. And let that be a fire, because I was in a post before on Facebook, people talking about what can individuals do. Well, this is one thing you can do. Be a content creator and share your videos. Call your representatives, both local, state level, and federal level. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your family members. This is an opportunity for education, because elections are coming. We're already in the 2026 election cycle. They're not talking about it too much because people haven't put themselves out there yet. But there are elections going on across the country that will have far-reaching ramifications if they go to the right. And we're talking about Supreme Court elections in states. And one here in North Carolina that still hasn't been settled. Jefferson, I can't remember his last name. He's on the appeals court in North Carolina and ran for a Supreme Court position and lost. While it was just by 756 votes, he lost. There were 2 recounts, still lost. I can't remember how many appeals he's done trying to throw out 65,000 votes that he said were improper, and it has been verified that those votes were proper, and yet here we are in April, and Allison Riggs, whose seat we're talking about, she's still doing work. But if they wait until April and say those 60,000 votes gets thrown out and Jefferson becomes the Supreme Court justice, that means North Carolina's Supreme Court is clearly Republican and will vote Republican with the North Carolina legislature, whether that is for the law. And just a little side note, why are justices partisan? The law is the law. Now, I know some of you will say, well, what about Supreme Court Justices Alito and Thomas? The only thing that I will say you, why haven't they been impeached? Probably because most people in this country don't know that Supreme Court justices can be impeached, just like the president. And also, a point of fact, I looked it up, and cabinet members can be impeached. And I'll just give you some names. RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, the Treasury Secretary. I don't care that he's gay. He needs to be fired. Don't have to believe me. Look it up. So why isn't anybody talking about impeachment there? But anyway, I digress. This video has been longer than I intended to be, but please, please, look this up with regard to Cory Booker and share it on all of your social media platforms. Thank you. Appreciate you viewing. Please like and share, and if you're so inclined to be able to see more of my videos that will come up, please subscribe. Take care. Enjoy the beautiful weather if you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I will see you on the next video.